The whole experience of having a baby is different for different people, and certain things are important for some people, and they're just different. And I think that it's important to have a range of options available for women when they're having a baby, and so that you can make a choice about what you feel is the best option for you and your family and ultimately your baby.
If women are given the right to choose where they birth, they tend to take more ownership of the decision and make more educated decisions. And the more educated you are, the more reading you do, the more proactive you can be in your birth. You can go in there with so much confidence and understanding, and it makes for a really wonderful experience.
Homebirth allowed me to find a practitioner who related not only to my vulnerabilities but also to my strengths. I was in an environment with a midwife and support people who weren't starting out from a place of fear, and I'm sure that had a huge impact on the birth. I did birth successfully at home, and afterwards I just felt incredibly triumphant. Like, I can't describe the experience. I felt like I'd won an Olympic gold medal. You know, I was on a high for about 3 days and it never kind of crashed down, did it, Amelia? So it really set me up from the start, from having a positive, empowered experience, and I feel really, really grateful for that, incredibly grateful. I was quite open to the possibility that I might need to go to hospital, and that's okay. I was glad that that system was there as a backup.
It's really important that the woman who's about to give birth is able to choose where she does it.
I was lucky enough to have 2 fantastic home births, one of them quite lengthy and the other one very, very short. These births were so different and yet were completely encompassed in the safety of my own home, in quite rugged situations. We live in a rural area. It would have been quite a drive to get to hospital.
I laboured mainly at home and went up to the hospital at the last minute, so I was ready to go and had a great birth. It would have been extra special to stay in the bath at home where I was.
We had 2 home births in England. Both they were fully supported by the GP. We had access to midwives who came round to the house to visit us before the birth. Everything was great, you know. We had a hospital birth as well, which doesn't compare. The home births were so relaxing. They were far more inclusive of the rest of the family, and we could just do things the way we wanted to do them.
Having the freedom to choose where I want to birth my baby is fundamental as a human right. The fact that we're even having this conversation about whether I have that choice or possibly may not have that choice is ludicrous. I think that if I was a man, we wouldn't be having this conversation. If you take women's choices away and they're pushed into a corner, they're not going to feel comfortable. And a woman needs to feel comfortable during birth. It's very important. If a woman's not comfortable during birth, that's when unnecessary intervention usually comes in.
It endangers women. I think women who choose to give birth at home will still do so, but they won't have someone qualified and experienced as I did. The skills of an experienced midwife are so valuable, and there should always be that opportunity to have someone who you trust to support you during your birth.
We're going to continue to home birth, and if we don't have access to midwives or feel comfortable seeking medical advice if we need it without being ostracised and vilified, women are going to be more reluctant to seek out those help that they need, and that's not an outcome that anybody wants.
There are models around the world that show us that you can integrate home births with the medical system really successfully, such as in Holland. So we know that it can be done, it's just a matter of will. And I really wish that here in Australia we had the will to create that system which really does provide true choice for women.
This is such women's business. Women have been doing it beautifully for all of this time, and I think it's such a pity that it's turned into a business.
The people who are making these decisions really need to take a close look to the statistics that tell us that home birth is in fact a completely safe and possibly safer option.
If any of you or your colleagues have any doubt as to why we're going to keep fighting for this vigilantly, I implore you to go and spend half a day with a midwife in independent practice and then go and see what it's like in mainstream services. And you have to be blind, Freddie, not to see why this is so important to us.
There's been talk about the birthing unit at the hospital being shut down, so if you take that away plus the choice to birth at home, you're putting additional pressure on the centres, which is Coffs Harbour for us, which isn't a huge area, and they're already servicing a really large area anyway. And I think that by removing further choices is, I think it's a really silly decision financially and also for the safety of women, and taking away choices is just rude, really.
Think of your mothers. Think of how your mothers mother you. You know, this is so important. It's very cruel to think that you would take this caring out of the lives of our future children.
Please hear us, hear what we're saying. Hear what we're saying, yeah. No worries.
Gemma.